Otherwise, it's like...
Oh, shit. I'm so sorry. I was trying to lean in and knocked over my water.
Yeah, it's not like it's just water.
Oh, joy.
I was wondering that I was...
I'm very clumsy, see, all day.
I don't...
Hi again, everyone. Thank you for visiting us again this week on Sad to Savage. So last week we were talking about relationships and dating advice. Gotta start over. Relationship tips, and dating advice. All right, from the top. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Sad to Savage. Last week we were talking about relationships and dating advice. And this week we're going to be doing the same thing, except for now we're going to be focusing on tips for the men instead of the women. So we're excited to share that all with you today. We're excited. All right, so I know that last week we talked about, relationship advice for fellow women. We're all women. We've all been dating, have dated for a very long time. Some of us have even gone through marriages and, things of that nature, divorces, things of that nature. And so on the flip side of that, since we've done so much dating, we've actually had some gentlemen ask, we wanted to give some things that are like pet peeves to each of us, like the top pet peeve, but then also give you guys solutions of what you can do to combat those pet peeves, other suggestions, other options. Maybe don't do that, try this kind of episode. So with further ado, let's dive in. So I know that we all had really unique opinions about it because we're all in very different, what do they call it? Fields, levels, places in our dating.
Stages.
Yes.
Right?
So, for me, for example, I am divorced, and so I'm starting over in my dating phase. I've been divorced for about 4 years now, and I'm finally ready to, be open to the idea of a committed relationship again.
Yeah.
And so I'm meeting people. And right now through the pandemic, the biggest way to meet people has been online.
Yeah.
Right? So Facebook has a dating thing. I added that on maybe back in like June or July. And it's been really easy not to meet anyone. Why? Well, because you guys love to approach women and ask one-worded things, like WYD. Not even a full sentence.
What are you doing?
Don't do that. Or like, hey, hi.
So, she's doing the male voice.
Yes. What are we supposed to engage with that? And so for me, that's my biggest pet peeve. If you are approaching me for the first time ever and you come out with maybe 2 words, you're never going to hear from me. You could be the greatest man. You could be super cool. I don't know because I'm not going to get to know you.
Put in a little effort.
A little bit of effort. All you guys have to do is ask a question. You all know that women love to talk about themselves. It's not hard for us to come up with an answer to a question. So just ask a question. And it could be a funny question. It could be something that you are genuinely interested in knowing. But don't approach women with like, hey, wow, you're pretty. That's not a question. That's not invoking conversation. Hey, hi. Hello?
I think like an introduction is good too, though. Like, hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm from this area. This is what I like to do.
Advice.
What about you? Like, I think even an introduction is helpful.
Anything.
I like that.
Anything at all. I could care less if you ask me like, I've had people ask me really random things, and I'm like, that's a random question, but I gotta give you credit because you came up with something unique.
Yeah.
I think people go for shock factor, thinking that it's gonna win a girl over if they're asking something really outlandish.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's more of a turn off.
Yeah.
Because that's not how you are. You don't go
Right.
through your normal daily life dating somebody, asking them weird off the wall questions as they're getting ready to go to work.
Well,
You
some
know,
people
like, I mean,
maybe.
some people maybe, but
I'm thinking.
even just being like your normal self, I think goes a lot farther.
I agree,
Exactly.
totally.
Yeah, because at least if you're doing that, you'll align with who you're meant to align with. I
Right.
know that for men, looks are a really big thing. So if you think someone's pretty and you want to approach them or talk to them,
Right.
that's kind of your like angle. Like that's for you. You're attracted to them, so you want to get to know them. It's not necessarily like that for women. I was not married to somebody that I was attracted to, and I'll say that in full honesty. I was attracted to him because of, the helpfulness, the conversations, things that led up to it. But physically, if people were to ask me like my type, that's not who I was married to, And so women will give you the time of day if you can be on their level in some sense, whether it's at humor or work or on family levels, right? It's like you've got to have some sort of common ground. You guys are aligned in a certain area. Cool. And now you can develop from there. But just because you think someone's pretty doesn't mean it's going to work out. And so, just the approaching people online being like, wow, you're pretty. Like, I'm sure that does it for you, but telling somebody you didn't do it for us, you know? Like, that doesn't do anything.
You're gorgeous, and I'm sure you receive that compliment how many times a day?
I don't even open all of the things in the inbox because you can see the message before you open it, and I'm just like, no.
So gentlemen, just like remember that before you're about to tell someone off the jump without even knowing who they are that they're pretty, they've probably heard that line
a million times.
So being different and approaching a woman as yourself, I think is a lot more like satisfying and kind of piques my interest.
Yeah, especially when you are just getting to know somebody, right?
Exactly.
Like if we have met in person, if we work together, I don't really date with people I work with, but I'm just saying, if you know someone and you're talking to them, then it's wow, you look really good today. You look really beautiful. You know, it's one thing to kind of make those comments. But when you're meeting, I'm specifically talking about me and my place and meeting people online for the first time. Probably not the best segue if you actually want to grow to meet that person.
Well, that's a good point right there. What you just said is just maybe not sound so generic.
Yes.
Right? I've had when I tried online dating a few years ago, you could tell, guys, I'm sure that when they want to cast their net wide, you copy and paste, or you can tell.
Like,
it looks like a template.
And see who you
catch.
It
looks like a template, But I mean, you don't have to be all elaborate. Too little, not too much, but just right. Is if you could just take a look at a few of the profile pictures, right? And what was unique, what was captivating about that person that drew your attention. So if it was, gosh, you have the biggest, brightest, most beautiful blue eyes, or the biggest, brightest smile I've ever seen, I could totally feel your energy through your pictures. Just something, not too elaborate. I feel like it's simple. I feel like it's genuine, and I feel like it's specific to that person, right? Right. It's like, oh, I see that you are, climbing Mount Everest. It's like, that is so impressive.
I think that's cool.
I think it's so cool. 'Cause draw something in to relate to the person, so that what I love is hearing the word intention. It's like, when you date with intention.
Yeah.
Is that like for you, what can you tell, like if someone comes at you and you can sense that their intention maybe isn't pure, maybe isn't genuine?
For me, I feel like humans gravitate towards people and things that we resonate with, or something that we vibe with, right? So I feel like, that would be my biggest pet peeve, is when you can tell a guy is just throwing his lines, or just casting his net wide, or just being inauthentic, or, to me, I need somebody to you will get my attention if I can feel and sense that you are authentic in your intentions.
And where are you, like, when you're meeting people now? Because in the dating scale, like, I know you've been married, I know that you've gone through relationships, and I know that you're not necessarily in a serious relationship right now, but like, where are you in the sense of like your dating trajectory? That's even a thing. We'll just go with it. It sounds good.
Yeah, do we
Sounds
have a
good.
longer episode? So I'm dating, and and to me, I'm not actively dating.
Okay.
I've been divorced for over 11 years, and being a single mom, have kids that are adult. It's just, I'm kind of like all over the place. I'm still kind of busy with my kids. I still am very busy with my career. I'm not actively online, but I do appreciate, like, when I go out to dinner, or when I'm out and about with my friends, or even at the grocery store, you can tell when someone, makes effort, gives you the intention that they are, it's like, hey, you caught my attention.
Taking it serious. Like, maybe they're stepping out of their comfort zone for you.
Exactly.
Whatever it is, they took that best foot forward action.
To me, I love that. I love it when somebody can put themselves out there and put their foot forward. I appreciate that.
I think it's big in like being courted. It shows that they're taking that first step.
Exactly.
Right? So, for a lot of women, not every woman, because gender roles are changing these days, but for a lot of women, they do expect to be courted.
Speaking of courting, I like guys who are, I would say, somewhat of old school mentality, gentlemen, opening doors, kissing you on the forehead or the cheek, very endearing type of guys. Yeah. So I guess my pet peeve would be a guy who meets you for the first time and he assumes it's okay to just kiss you very intimately and you don't know him.
Like
without asking
Like
permission.
tongue kiss without permission. So I'm like, hey, stop. Like, can you get my permission first? I think it's so romantic for a guy to ask you, is it okay if I kiss you?
I want to
It
kiss you
really
so
is.
bad
At the
right
end
now,
of the
can
night.
I?
I think that's so
Really
sweet.
is.
Yeah.
And you know, as women, men, whoever, if you feel okay and you feel settled, then you can also say yes, that would be nice. And then, you know, the date normally
Develops
ends
from
on a really great note, and you also most likely will get a little
Another.
note saying, hey, let's meet up another time. I really enjoyed tonight.
Yeah.
And then it just carries from there. But that's my idea of a beautiful situation.
I'm with you
Yeah.
on that, Yoli. I mean, I've gone on dates with very nice men who we weren't necessarily compatible with. I don't see myself with you for the long term, but in this moment, like I have had like the best
great
date ever,
time.
Six Flags. It was the best date, and
Oh,
he
fun.
was such a gentleman. And at the end, when the date was over, he's like, may I kiss you? And I'm like, you absolutely may. I'm like, come here. Like, yes,
You've earned
you
it.
deserve
Yeah.
it. Yes, exactly. You deserve it. I've had a fantastic day,
Yes.
and you asked permission. Like, it's
I love it.
it's
But
very.
isn't it so isn't it awesome to feel like a little butterfly in your tummy to get a really sweet kiss?
I like that.
You know, because we're all mature girls and we've, you know, dated, been married, or whatever the case may be. But just to have that, and it's something that can just linger in your mind afterwards. You know,
And
And I-
too, it's like sexy. Sorry.
no,
It's
no,
very
no, no,
sexy.
go.
Sexy time, like it happens, right? You get more acquainted, you have those deep, passionate kisses, but the initial contact, the initial butterflies, those don't last forever. So it's like, just
No.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, ride the ride, you know?
Right.
Yes, I can say for my pet peeve, when I'm talking to someone who's clearly like demonstrated that they have an interest in me, I cannot stand when they don't respond to a text. And I'm not, I consider myself quite detached because I'm quite a busy woman with like
Yes.
doing multiple things.
Yes.
But you are also in a more of a committed phase of dating. So it's like, once I've dated you multiple times and we have a consistent stream of
Right.
communication,
Yeah.
let's keep that communication
so-
going both ways.
And I've dated men older and of my age that just I don't know if they get comfortable or they become too busy. But we see that as you're not interested. When you're too busy to simply text, hey, I have a really busy week this week. I'm not going to be able to catch up on the phone, but
Right.
maybe we can catch up some other time.
I'd love to see you next week. Let me
Right.
take you on a date.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, I may not talk to you this week.
Totally
Right.
fine.
But at
It's
least
so
I'm not
cool.
sitting there thinking about, like,
Right.
have you lost interest?
you
Are you
lost?
taking somebody
Yeah.
else out now? Like,
Exactly.
what could be going on?
Like I
that
feel like the
there's a
other
detachment.
side, whether it's you or the other person, deserves to know, hey, are you still interested? Because if not, we need to move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And two, I've also had it happen where I was dating someone, not very serious, but for a couple months, and they had reached out, like they went MIA for like maybe almost a month, and I just kind of figured they weren't interested, and they came back and they were like, hey, someone in my family had died, I was dealing with a lot of stuff, and I said, wow, I personally, thanks for letting me know.
Right.
I personally would love to stay friends with you. I hope everything works out. Like, I'm here as a support system. But the fact that you didn't think in the moment to consider me a part of that,
Yeah.
that's like a future habit, like
Yep.
of what
yes,
would it lead
Yes.
to.
Yes.
We're either not compatible, or, you know, in a sense of
Right.
you don't like me as much as you think you do because you think I'm pretty or whatever.
Right.
Or we're genuinely just not going to agree on what is proper communication within that relationship.
Yes.
Don't need to talk to you every day, but should have definitely known someone in your immediate family died.
Yes.
It's weird to go missing for a month and then expect me to just pop back and be like, oh, that's okay, let's go out for
Yeah.
dinner.
It doesn't work
It
that
doesn't
way.
feel-
It really
it doesn't feel
doesn't.
good.
And I will say, like, I've been married and divorced. Communication in relationships is so important. You can't just expect, like, that your significant other knows you. No matter how well someone knows you, they don't fully know what's going on in your mind.
Or what happened to you that
Right,
day, or
like-
if you're having anxiety, depression, flare up, if you're
Right.
dealing with outside
Right.
sources. And it's not my job to be a mind reader. Are you okay? What happened?
Yeah.
Do you need help? That's not my job. I'm not your babysitter. We're supposed to be partners. We're supposed to
Right.
be equal.
Right.
Work
So
together.
Speak up, people.
Work together. Totally okay if you are no longer interested in someone to say,
Yeah.
hey, listen, I don't think we're compatible.
Right.
Wish you the best.
I respect
Maybe
that.
keep in touch,
Right.
but let's move forward.
Right.
I mean,
Communication.
Communication
Come on.
is
Is
so
key.
important.
Like, we've gone through the divorces and we're kind of in the middle of dating or courting, and then we have Caitlin over here who's like happily married. She's like,
She's like, I'm living
You
it
gotta
up.
have at least one married friend.
I'm not
right?
on that level anymore, but
I dated so many people prior to getting married, and I say a lot. I dated every type of person, I think.
Wow.
I mean, I think I dated
Yeah.
any kind of guy under the sun. And the one thing that all of them lacked was being able to kind of hustle on my level. So I always felt like, here I am, I work really hard, I run businesses, I start businesses, I do things. Whether they're successful or not doesn't matter. What
Right.
matters is my work ethic and how I'm pushing to kind of
you're a
better myself.
motivated
Yes.
person.
Yeah,
Motivation.
and if your motivation levels do not align, it will never work. And I wish there was like a thing on a dating site where you could raise the scale on motivation level. So if you're kind of a lazy guy and you want a lazy girl to kind of relax on the couch with you, you can mark that, you know.
There are people for that.
There really are.
Yeah. That's a huge thing, and I think for a lot of women, that's the biggest turnoff is if
Yeah.
they're constantly working and they're
Yes.
constantly pushing and the guy doesn't align. And I'm sure it's vice versa. That's a
It
vice
does.
versa
There's a flip
situation.
side.
Yeah.
I do understand that there are men that have told me, it's like, wow, I can't get more than 5-minute conversation in with you because
you're
you're so busy. Right? So, you work long hours. I understand that. I admire that so much about you. And so I think what it is like you said, it just has to come in alignment with that person, because there are men that are total workaholics.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, that's the third party situation, their job, right? And so for you, like with communication, that needs to set precedence. That needs to say, I work a lot.
Right.
I this is what I do. These are the businesses I run. And it's like, realistically, I'm only going to give you 20% of me, 10% of me, 5% of me, whatever it is. Be very honest. Like, again, intention.
Yeah.
You know,
And
what
if it grows from there,
if
great.
it goes,
But
yeah.
if it doesn't,
Can you understand where I am in my timeline, where I am in my life, right? Or, whatever the life situation is, they have their whole schedule open for a relationship.
Right.
And so they're going to be like, I want you, I want your attention, right? And then the guy will feel like, I'm sorry, I really cannot give you this.
I'm focusing on my career.
Yes.
You hear that a
So
lot.
with that, understand where you are in both of your,
Like timelines.
timeline and your scalability of like
I know,
how
that's-
much you want to date.
I think as long as you are aligned with how much you work or whatever works for your situation, but I think most men just see, a pretty girl, I want to get to know her,
Yes.
and I really want to date you because I'm really attracted to you, but they don't understand that it does go a little bit deeper than that. And I think that's where the communication comes in. If you can honestly tell someone, hey, this is how I am,
Yes.
Right.
and for a guy, you just have to be honest. You might think the girl is the best looking girl in the world,
Right.
but if it's not going to work out,
She might demasculate.
Big
What is
time.
it, demasculate
That's
here?
true.
Yeah.
Women who are motivated, women who are powerful, maybe have leadership roles, a CEO, an exec, and an entrepreneur, when you have to start to be able to really make the decisions and make calls, and then like your partner is maybe not as motivated, so they are, I don't care what we have for dinner tonight. I'm just, I'm going to play my video games. Like, that's
Right.
cool. There's people for that. But now it creates a friction where you're feeling bad for demasculating someone and you feel like you're not motivated enough when in reality you both just aren't compatible.
well, and then
you
I
know?
become really mean. So I become
It's like a
really
resentful.
horrible person. Like,
Right.
Can't you do
And
something?
why do you want to be that?
Trying to like force a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah.
There
Exactly.
builds resentment.
And you hear people say a lot, like, I spent all this time on something. It's like, well, yeah, if you were trying to fit something into a shape it didn't fit, I'd be mad too
Exactly.
if that time I
Yeah,
wasted.
yeah.
Exactly.
So I get it.
And
I've been
that's-
guilty of that many times. I'll admit it.
Oh, of course, but I feel like
You
it's
know?
a learning process.
It is a learning process.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, well, there's what you want and then what you need. And
Yes.
I really believe like a very good partnership is you're going to be with someone you need.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of times
Yes.
people don't even know what they need.
Exactly.
We're really caught up into having types and caught up into like these
Yeah.
checklists, but sometimes that's genuinely not what you need. So, which kind of reverts back to, last week and our dating advice for women and kind of just being in alignment when you date. These were more tips for the gents of like kind of what else you could do besides the things that maybe you've been doing. But last week it was more about the women and the things that we go through in dating and what we'll put up with and what we expect and accept. And so, take a look at that if you haven't already. But we also just wanted to thank everyone so much for watching us today. We love kind of giving little tips and tricks of the trade, so to speak. So if you guys have any other questions for us at all, leave it in the comments below. We're always excited to hear what you have to say. We actually did this episode based on a comment we got. So thank you so much for giving us amazing ideas. And if anything else pops into mind, you can comment. Of course, give the video a like, subscribe, and stay savage. Sad to Savage, everyone.
Bye.